MTGCubeTuber.
Looking for more great Cube content? Listen to Uber Cube Podcast. It's a podcast about all things Cube with refreshment. It is a must-listen for any Cube aficionados. You can find the Uber Cube on Spotify or any of your favorite podcasting apps. The Sudden Death Cube is like no other cube I've played before. I've seen other two-player cubes, like the Degenerate Cube designed by Andy Goldman from Lucky Paper Radio. The Sudden Death Cube is different in a way that your game decisions result in an almost instant loss or win. I know all games of Magic boil down to the decisions we take, but in the Sudden Death Cube, every choice balances on the razor's edge that could lead to a quick defeat. The Sudden Death Cube is a two-player cube that is small. Not 360 cards small, not 180. The entire cube consists of 54 cards. My copy of this cube easily fits into a standard 100-card deck box, and that's with all the sleeves, tokens, and 4 each of basic lands sleeved up as well. Drafting this cube requires players to grid draft 6 packs of 9 cards. For those who don't know how grid draft works, it works like this. You lay out 9 cards in 3 columns and 3 rows, 3 by 3. Then the player choosing first can choose any column or row of 3 cards. Players cannot pick diagonally. Then the player going second picks a row or a column. All cards not chosen gets discarded. They will not be used in the draft. Then lay out a new set of 9 cards 3 by 3. The player that went second gets to pick first now. Alternate like this until all cards are drafted. After you draft, you build a 15-card deck. Usually, I try to run 4 to 5 lands. Then you play a normal game of Magic with 7 cards in your opening hand. Yes, nearly half of your deck. There are only 2 rule changes. Both players start the game with 1 life. If a player causes a draw, that player then loses the game. If you're planning on stealing your opponent's win from them by bolting yourself with a slag storm before they kill you, it won't work. You still lose the game. Starting the game in such a vulnerable position makes for intense turns. There will be times where I know I have lethal on the board, but I know my opponent has 1 or more removal pieces, and a counter to my combat trick, so I have to wait until I draw my counter. Then, in 1 turn, I swing in and we both dump our hands with combat tricks and removal to decide the victor. Drafting this cube and playing games are fast. Generally, drafting and playing takes around 15 minutes. It's designed to play between rounds at tournaments. I've seen people take longer playing their turns in Commander than drafting and playing this entire cube. A few months back, I was able to draft and get some games in with an opponent at a Legacy tournament. We were both able to draft and get 2 games in before the round went to time. And that was after our match was over. The Sudden Death Cube is a balanced collection of low mana cards that interact to provide quick but competitive games of Magic. It's easy for beginners, but the interactions will probably favor more experienced players. You're not going to draft a card like Shock that will kill your opponent outright, or you will not find cards that will drain your opponent for 1. These cards are designed to interact with each other, so you're attacking in combat, targeting with removal, and countering effects. However, if you fail to answer a turn 1/1/1, that could cost you the game. I've seen a few games go where a player plays a Devoted Retainer, then an opponent plays a Forest, but doesn't have a creature to block or a way to remove the retainer and realizes they die on the spot. Go to game 2. Since your life starts so depleted, life gain can be the cushion that keeps a player in the game. Whenever I draft this cube, I prioritize cards that will increase your life. Sometimes it's worth it to spend a card just to gain 1 point. White is full of life gain, with lifelink creatures like Sacred Cat and Hopeful Eidolon. Also, Healing Grace can be a blowout card that swings the momentum of a game. Black has Nightmare's Thirst and Moment of Craving for removal and life gain. Also, if you get enough mana to put Eternal Thirst on a creature, you'll be able to gain life while swinging over creatures. Green has Sheltering Word, which protects something and gains life. Also, Environmental Science is a good way to gain life in any color deck. There are some really cool strategies in this cube. Red seems to be the strongest color. Red produces creatures in numbers, with Dragon Fodder and Hordling Outburst making 1/1 goblins. There are cards that can just end the game on the spot. Scroll of the Magnus can end a game quick if luck is on your side. Beacon of Destruction is a nuclear bomb of this format. It is at the top of the mana curve of this cube. However, the card that I've seen in many games, Spear Spewer. Play this card turn 1. If opponent plays a 1-drop and does not directly answer it, then you can do a turn 2 Environmental Science, or any life gain card, tap the Skewer and ping for 1. GG. Black has good cards too. Cabal Therapy can steal your opponent's win condition from them. Black has powerful cards that cause you to lose life, but if you draft the life gain package, you can do some awesome stuff with it. Dreadhorde Invasion makes tokens, and maybe can get you a lifelink creature if you have the life and turns for it. Herald of Torment gives you a plump flyer as long as you have the life to pay for it at the beginning of your turn. Green has a bunch of large creatures for this format that can punch through with Trample. Blue seems to be the weakest color because it does not have many game-ending cards. However, it makes up for its weak creatures with solid bounce spells like Withdraw and Select for Inspection. Blue answers threats with counter spells. Miscalculate and Unsubstantiate. These cards can stop a spell and provide other support as well. The Sudden Death Cube may not have the near limitless interactions and matchup as a full 360 or 540 cube, but it provides a 2-player draft where both players' decisions matter. Games are quick and can end suddenly. It's a fast way to get in some high-stakes games with little setup, and it's also a super easy cube to shuffle. Plus, this cube is easy to build, it's easy to store, and it's not going to put much strain on your credit card. As of making this video, this cube costs around $12 to make. That's less than getting lunch at a Five Guys. The Sudden Death Cube is a curiosity in the cube landscape. It's a great way to get draft lovers to spend 15 minutes on a fast-paced cube that straddles the Rager's edge between sweet victory and sudden defeat. Since it is so easy to play and carry, I always throw this cube into my bag when heading out for cube night.